And so we've come full circle, and it's happened extremely quickly, and it's not isolated. It's not like, one country had a bad trip, and, this guy at the top decided to trip on power and use hate to get the rest of the people inside the country to turn on their countrymen, the Jews at a specific time in history. It's not like that, where the world looked in and went, oh man, that's a horrible thing. We got to go in there and rescue. This is different. This is different. This is the world who's looking in, who has made a decision that, yeah, as a matter of fact, if a Jewish person, a Jew, it's not about religion, exists and lives, even if they're doing it peacefully, even if they're attacked about it, they're careful. Even when they go to war, Israel's very careful. They just can't be breathing. They just can't, because their breathing means they're oppressing us. That's what I'm hearing. And that's what Germany said too, that these Jewish people were very successful. They're too much for us. They own everything. They're oppressing us because they have strong communities. And yes, very mysterious people. They have to be to protect themselves. But they have strong communities. They have strong values. And that breeds success. And they're hated not for what they think or what they believe, which is what's happening of late. It's like, oh, you like Trump, you like Biden, you're an idiot. This is like your DNA is not it. And because your DNA is not it, the brutal murdering of your children is totally justified. And this isn't one country. This isn't it happening in one place. So I'm watching the world look in on this, on Israel and the country going through what it's going through. And the world has turned around and said, you know what? We kind of agree. We think that they're oppressors. We actually don't like the Jews. And by any means necessary, let's eliminate them. That's what I'm seeing and hearing. And it's like a darkness, like a principality, where it darkens your eyes, it darkens your heart. And it's hate for no reason. And even the people who are interviewed about it, they say it and they go, yeah, it's kind of messed up, but it's like, whoa, we've crossed over. We've crossed over. I can't imagine what it would be like if the Congress people during the 1940s, and I know it's a played thing. I know. But if the Congress folks back in the 1940s saw live streams of people being put on trains, being stripped, put in chambers, in ovens, and said, Germany's kind of got a point. I mean, they're oppressing the Germans, these Jewish people, these Jews. This is what I see. And the fact that Congress tolerates it, I have no idea. I have no clue. It is despicable. And I'm glad that Trudeau came out and said no Canadian thinks this way. And if you do, change your mind, because this is not okay. What's happening in Israel is not okay. And you're not allowed to twist this and turn this however you so choose to make yourself feel better. Our government didn't do that. I can't imagine being a Jew right now. What you must be looking at, with the mirror that's being shown to you with the world and how much it hates you. And the fact you got to go home to your kids and know that could have been your person. That could have been your family. And as a matter of fact, if the world had its way, it would be. This isn't an isolated thing like in Germany, where the world said, oh no, we got to come in and rescue them. Oh no, this is a horrible, horrible thing. No, the world has decided to turn on its heels and say, yeah, I don't know, we're kind of cool with this. I mean, yes, they've put the Israel flag all over all the major countries, but then it kind of created these weirdos. It came out of nowhere and said, oh no, we're going to march publicly. By the way, if you marched publicly and said, kill any other group of people, gas that group, this group, especially the group that thinks that they can be a man or a woman, which I'm not saying that that's the case. I don't think that on anybody. But do you think that they wouldn't be arrested? If you so much as call somebody in Britain the wrong gender, aren't you arrested for that? Isn't that considered a hate crime? But people outside of the Sydney Opera House can scream things about how they want to kill the Jews, right? That's okay, though. It's calling evil good and good evil. The fact that the people who are so sensitive and want to virtue signal so much have gone so silent. And they're mostly on that side of the aisle, the same side of the aisle that loves things like, the right to hurt your own bloodline because it was inconvenient to you. This is my opinion on this, but it happens to be the same type of people who end up on that side who says Palestine has a right to do whatever, by all means necessary. And it's not even the people there that's doing it. It's this creepy government. It's got to be hard to be a Jewish person, to be a Jew, to know that, the world has marked you yet again. And it's been prophesied. We know that's the cycle. But how do you not see it's supernatural? How do you not see that there's something in the air, a darkness, a cloud above the world that is whispering evil into its ears, into its subconscious? I don't know how you can have a society that's so sensitive about so many things, but yet so cruel in such an obvious way. I'm amazed. I'm amazed because not only was it a brutal thing that occurred, but the aftermath and the revelation of the heart of our world right now is unbearable. It is unbearable. I'm not afraid and I'm not frightened. I don't think anybody should be. I believe it's in God's hands. But even when Israel stomps this place into the ground, meaning Gaza Strip, I don't know how we're going to combat the darkness in our heart outside of the obvious. I'm here. My name is Christ is King forever. This is my channel. Jesus is King. He fixes our hearts. He is the mender of our soul. He mends us. He fixes us. He heals us. He brings light into our eyes. It's the only answer. I mean, you can't stomp this into the ground. You can arrest as many people as you want, but they'll just go underground and rise again later. And how this isn't equal to something like Nazism, which I know it's always being thrown out there as though this is equal. This is really bad. This is worse because when the world looked in, they didn't harden their heart and cheer on such brutality. It's just on another level. I'm going to be praying a spiritual warfare prayer against the Hamas leaders, that whatever principalities that are very, very fat upon the blood that they spill, there must be strength in the principalities around them. I'm going to pray that those principalities' mouths are sealed shut, sewn shut, just like the lions in the lion's den, Daniel's lion's den, and that they go into starvation mode, and that they are no longer able to protect these evil men from all the things that are coming to them, the vengeance that God has for them. So I bind them in Jesus' name. I bind these principalities and powers, and I crush all weapons they have formed against the saints and the Jewish people, the Jews. And we bind them with heavy chains. We throw them into the deepest, darkest part of the sea, so that the warring angels can come in and inflict all kinds of pain upon the subconscious of these men. I mean, pain that's way worse than anything you can do physically to them. A spiritual pain that's way worse than a madness and a blindness that's way worse than anything they've ever felt before. A shaking so deep. There's not an earthquake that's ever occurred that will hurt as much as what God will do to them. So I pray that over these men, the vengeance of God, that they feel and hear all the things that they've done to other people be done to their own families, so that they can have some type of heart in all this, so that they can grow a conscience just big enough to understand the fullness of the evil that they've done, just even part of the fullness of the evil, just part of it, not even the whole thing, because I really believe that's where the real pain will come from. I pray that God will meet them where they are and let them face the truth of the darkness that they're in. And we Christians pray for our enemies, so I'm not going to pray for them to feel any kind of relief from any of this. But I do pray that God meets them where they are, that they're able to stop their evil ways, that they, being persecutors, end up people who turn the tide in a different direction. I pray that God meets them where they are, and that they suffer the way that God, who is the perfect judge, knows they need to suffer. He knows all their psychological problems. He knows all the problems they got. He's going to meet them where they are, and he's going to hit them in ways we can't even fathom, and I have faith in that. And I want them alive for it, because death is an easy way out. And the best way to do that is to give them to the Lion of Judah, who is Jesus Christ, so that the perfect judge can pass judgment upon them, and whatever he says goes. Whatever he wants to do with that is his to do. It's not for me to say. I pray for this, and that peace is given to all the people right now, all the Jewish and Jews right now, the people who are looking upon the scene of the world, and how the world has overnight revealed what was happening in the physical realm is actually what's happening in the spiritual realm, and it's not just in one place but everywhere. And it's very sad. It's just tragic. And so I pray for peace for the Jewish folks, for protection for the Jews, and that they don't feel alone in this time. I don't want them to feel alone. And I don't want them to feel like that they're the only one looking at their children wondering the same thing. What is tomorrow going to bring for you, whose veins people hate, the blood in your veins people just despise because of who you are? You're not alone in this. You're not alone in this. You have a lot of Christians who are praying for you, who support you, because now I don't think this is really an Israel issue. I'm going to keep it real. I don't think it is. This is something way darker, way deeper. And it's just tragic. So this is Linda of Christ is King forever. May God be with you.